In today's video, we're comparing my $6,000 camera setup to the brand new iPhone 17 Pro. Let's get into it. But first, I gotta choose the right music. So many good songs to choose from. Not that one, that one. That's the perfect song. Let's change this grade up. And let's put this one up. Much better. Drone mission, a success. Got some pretty cool shots actually. This is a really cool place here where I live. It's a swamp, full-on swamp. This is like Gollum territory right here. You do not want to crash your drone out there and have to go retrieve it because you're gonna be swimming. I mean, just look at that muddy swamp right there. You do not want to be going there. Okay, were you able to spot which shots were shot on the iPhone 17 Pro and which shots were shot on the A7S III? I'm gonna play them back again so you can watch them one more time. And while you're watching, try to guess in your head which shot was shot with which camera. And afterwards, I'm gonna play this whole video sequence in real time and I'm gonna reveal to you which shot was shot with which camera. Wow, that's a wordplay right there. All right, now for the grand reveal. Let's watch this together and I'm gonna reveal to you which camera was which. Here we go. First shot, this was iPhone. This was A7S III, A7S III. This is shot with iPhone. This was shot on iPhone. This is shot on iPhone. This is A7S III, A7S III. This is shot on iPhone. A7S III, A7S III. This was shot on iPhone, iPhone, on the iPhone. This is shot on the A7S III and A7S III. All in all, there was 16 clips, 8 were on the A7S III and 8 were on the iPhone 17 Pro. Okay, so how many did you get right and were you surprised with the results? And was there any shot where you're like, no way, I can't believe that one was shot on, for example, the iPhone or that one was shot on the A7S III? In my opinion, this is always a really fun comparison to do just to show how far along mobile phones like the iPhone 17 Pro have come along. Now, before we jump into the deep analysis and comparison of the iPhone 17 Pro to the A7S III footage, quick word from this episode's sponsor and a long-term partner of my channel, Artlist. If you are a content creator and you want to create content fast yet really high quality, I would highly recommend for you to check out Artlist because they are the platform for all creative assets. I'm talking music, sound effects, cinematic stock footage, templates, LUTs, any AI work you need for thumbnails or other projects. Artlist has it all. And what I love about Artlist is that when they first started out, they're mostly just music and sound effects, but they keep evolving and keep adding more and more tools to their platform to help us creators out, again, create content faster, but even higher quality. For example, whenever I'm creating any content for this channel or for clients, I have a very specific workflow that I use using Artlist. First, I always start off with trying to find music because you want to find music that really is catchy and fits the piece that you're creating. And with the search engine on Artlist website, it's so easy to find the exact kind of song you're looking for because you can search by genre, mood, video theme, even the specific instrument. So if you want, for example, somebody whistling in the song, you can choose whistle and that song is gonna have exactly what you need. Once I've found the right music for my piece, then I start to edit to the footage And once I've done that, it's time to add sound effects, because we all know sound effects really make your video footage or animations come alive. I personally love to have different animations and titles in my videos, and without sound effects, they just are really flat. But with the animations, it really makes them feel alive and more believable. And once I've edited my footage to the music and to the sound effects, it's always time to grade my videos. And if I'm getting bored of my own personal LUT, there's a whole library of LUTs on Artlist's website, which is really cool. And something that's really handy is that they've created different kinds of frames that you can choose and then compare how is the LUT going to impact that frame. So you can look at different kinds of frames that you think would be similar to the footage that maybe you're creating, and then you can go through their whole LUT catalog library and figure out exactly the LUT that would be for you. On top of this, Artlist has a huge catalog of cinematic stock footage, so if you're missing B-roll in your videos, you can easily go through their catalog. I actually recently just made a video called How I Would Make $10,000 in an Editor, and I created 3 different pieces without even leaving my office, just by using only cinematic stock footage from Artlist's website. And I showed some friends and they were like, dang, how did you shoot those and create those? And when I revealed them the secrets, they were like, wow, that's really impressive, because I was able to create really high quality, conference trailers and tech company startup promotional videos that companies realistically would actually pay thousands of dollars to create. And I was able to create it with minimal budget and minimal time because of Artlist's creative assets. So if you're not yet licensing your music and you wanna have more creative assets to use to create videos faster and higher quality, highly recommend try out Artlist. If you use the link in my description, they've actually been kind enough to my audience to offer 2 months free with the annual plan. So save some money. Grab that link, sign up for Artlist, you are gonna love it. Okay, back to the comparison, iPhone 17 Pro, A7S3 deep dive. So looking through the footage of both cameras, one thing that I first really noticed was just how insanely incredible the stabilization is on the iPhone 17 Pro. There's this one side profile shot of me where I have, my A7S3 and then I have the iPhone on top of it, and I'm filming myself both at the same time. And the A7S3, it's kind of wobbly and a little bit shaky, but this makes it feel like I was shooting on a gimbal. Now, not everyone might want that gimbal-like look. Maybe they do want that kind of cinematic, shaky handheld footage. So of course, then you would want the A7S3. But for some people, they really love that gimbal stabilized look. And if you're looking for that, the iPhone 17 Pro is gonna do a fantastic job with that. So for stabilization, I would actually give a point to the iPhone 17 Pro over the A7S3 if we're just talking about the most stabilized gimbal-like footage. Then when we're looking at dynamic range, it's actually crazy how some shots, the iPhone 17 Pro actually had more, information in the highlights because of computational photography. It's able to, combine a whole bunch of different exposures together to give you more dynamic range. So that was really impressive to me. Now, of course, where a camera like the A7S3 is really gonna excel is the image quality. If you're looking at the footage side by side of the A7S3 to the iPhone 17 Pro, the iPhone still has less quality, less, that filmic look. It's a little bit too digitally sharp, whereas the A7S3 just has a lot nicer colors, just better looking detail in the face. And when we think about depth of field, the depth of field is just way more natural, and there's just more depth of field with the A7S3, whereas when I'm filming with the iPhone 17 Pro, there's not as much depth of field, and it just doesn't look as natural, the roll-off and the blending. Of course, if you put in cinematic mode, then you're gonna get more, but a lot of times there's a lot of flaws when it comes to the edges of a person, so I don't think it's that usable. One of the pros though about the iPhone 17 Pro is just how easy it is to maneuver and get really unique, cool shots. You can really move around, and I had, for example, the iPhone on the end of my tripod, and I put it out there to film my feet walking, and it would be so hard to set up the shot with the A7S3, but with the iPhone, it was like, just throw it at the end of the tripod, get the right angle, and press record. I don't have to worry about the focus or exposure. It's all taken care of for you. Whereas the A7S3, I don't know if I could even get on the end of the tripod without it hitting the ground. And you know, you can just get into really unique, cool places with the iPhone 17 Pro. One little tip if you are wanting to mix footage from the iPhone 17 Pro with, for example, a mirrorless camera, is that if you're using ultra wide shots, for example, the ultra wide camera on the iPhone 17 Pro and then filming wide shots with the A7S3, you're gonna be able to blend those a lot better. Whereas then if you're doing tighter shots, that's when the difference between these two cameras is gonna be more noticeable. So keep that in mind. If you wanna use your iPhone as like a B camera, use it more for those really wide shots rather than those close-up shots, because that's where it's really gonna show that you're filming with a mobile phone versus a expensive mirrorless camera that this setup literally alone cost me $6,000. Now I know these comparisons can always seem a little bit silly comparing an iPhone to a professional mirrorless camera, but I feel like these videos are fun just to see A, can you really tell the difference, and B, to show how the gap between mobile phones and professional mirrorless cameras is just getting closer and closer, which is really exciting because it opens the door for anyone to be creative and create cool content. No longer is it just the people who can afford these cameras that can create really cool content. Even someone who has an iPhone in their pocket can go out and create really amazing content. Thanks again to Artlist for sponsoring this episode. If you're not yet signed up, you don't have licensed music, and you're missing out on all these amazing creative assets, use the link in my description, get 2 months free. Thanks you guys for watching, and we'll see you in next week's video.